Hello John, hello Barbara.
Hi Barbara.
I've come in to see you today because I know you do a lot of threading up in Coffs Harbour, and I'm interested to know a little bit about what you do. And it's all very exciting now because there's a Promoitalia Revitalizing threads which makes them absorbable, and I just want to ask you some questions on that. Is that okay with both of you?
Absolutely.
Great. First of all, you use the threads, and in what patients do you think are most suitable for threads?
I think all patients are suitable for them. It just depends on the severity of their face and how many we need to use. Some people we find we need to do a second lift, mini lift, 6 months after the first lift to achieve the ultimate effect.
And some faces are variable, aren't they? Very small faces may not get the same benefit as perhaps larger faces, so there is a bit of a variable effect depending on the patient's needs and anatomy.
It also depends on patient compliance.
Yes.
If they don't go home and follow the instructions we've given them for their post-care, they will not get the result. And you often find that they don't. They go straight back to their everyday activities, don't allow time for the threads to settle in and the new tissue to grow around the thread, so they don't get the ultimate effect that is achievable.
Yes, I can understand that. Now, John, from your perspective, what do you feel are the main benefits with the threads? Because they are an exciting technology.
Well, I love the technique. I think most of my patients have always had a positive benefit out of it. The benefits I see is the fact that it's minimally invasive. It's performed in an office setting. There's no requirement for general anaesthesia or hospitalisation. And the procedure, in my experience, has minimal complications.
Yes, and you're very right, and now that they're absorbable, it actually makes them even more exciting because the patient's own natural collagen and fibrous tissue is working. Is that right?
Absolutely, and it gives them that natural look. There's none of this cardboard look that they get with surgical facelifts.
That's right. And do you think, Barbara, with your experience as well, do you think it's like a facelift, or would you liken it to a facelift?
I think it's better than a facelift because it's softer. You don't get that wind tunnel stretched look that you get with a facelift. It's more natural. I love it. I think it's great. I'm so glad I had mine done.
Yeah, fantastic. I think a lot of people have had it done, but some people might not have. Is that so, John?
Absolutely.
It's a trial.
So how long does the procedure take?
Well, that varies depending on the number of threads that are required, but on an average, a full face, in my experience, you'd probably take maybe about an hour and 20 minutes, hour 30 minutes.
Fantastic.
From marking up to finish.
Marking up to finish.
Yeah, and it's not, a lot of patients can feel a bit frightened of having a needle and a thread put in their face, but basically it's very comfortable. It's a very comfortable procedure, and it doesn't take that long, and as you said, it's minimally invasive. What other advantages do you see the threads happening?
Well, I think the fact that unlike most other cosmetic procedures, the effect can be fairly long-lasting. I mean, we would expect an average of benefit lasting 5 years at least. Whereas, most of the other cosmetic procedures, like dermal fillers and so on, don't usually last that long.
12 to 18 months, maybe 2 years.
And I think one of the beautiful advantages with it, which I love, that, we can use it in combination with lots of things.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And, like fillers, and we can use it with lasers, and it's all a toolbox. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because not every patient needs the same as everyone else.
Yeah, I basically describe it to the patients as having a scaffolding inserted.
Yes.
And then the finishing touches can be achieved after the scaffolding effect has taken place.
Now, your clinic is in Coffs Harbour, is that right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the clinic. Because you've got some new aspects to the clinic as well.
Well, we've actually been in the cosmetic industry for about 20 years. When we first started, we only had Botox and collagen to work with, and gradually all these lovely new treatments have arrived and we've incorporated them into our clinic. We've recently opened a medi-spa, so we now have available a sauna, an 8-person spa, and all these lovely exotic spa treatments to relax and pamper you. And two beautiful girls to do it.
Fantastic. So basically, if someone was interested in having a thread treatment or a laser treatment or fillers, they could actually come to the clinic and basically have a whole package.
They could.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But they would do their relaxing spa treatments first before they did their thread treatment.
Exactly. So, patients are also very, very interested in the cost because, facelifts can be very expensive. And it's not as expensive as a facelift, I hear. Is that right?
No, it's not. The cost is actually according to the number of threads that we use. If you're doing a full face, it's around about $4,000 to $4,500. Face and neck can be twice that because, or even a little bit more. Particularly with a very severe neck, we would need to use a lot more threads on the neck.
So, it's in people's budget, really.
It is within most people's budget.
Yeah, and everyone wants to look good these days. So we're already thinking, a lot of patients think, recovery time. And that's something that you do speak to them in the consultation.
Exactly. They know beforehand that they probably will need a few days off work. They will need to be very careful for at least 10 days to protect the threads, because any pressure on the threads can actually break them and they won't work.
And John, you've been doing the threading a long time, so tell us a little about your experience. And I know you're very passionate about doing threads, you love it, amongst a lot of other things that you do.
Well, I do a whole range of specialist medical work as well, but the threads are a nice respite for me away from the disease-orientated practice. And to be honest, the results we get from the thread lift are wonderful. I mean, it's a rewarding procedure. The patients don't appear to suffer any significant degree of pain. I think reassurance, of course, before the procedure is vital. Almost all patients are totally relaxed about it. Even patients with needle phobias seem to not be a problem. I think in the number of patients we've only ever had one that was so anxious we had to give her a form of sedation, but she completed the treatment without any problem. So I find it an overall very rewarding procedure, both for the patient and for myself professionally.
And I think the most important thing is they must have realistic expectations, because if they don't, they will be disappointed. So we're very, very careful to go through it with them and make sure they understand what sort of result they will get.
That's fantastic. So, what you're saying is the consultation is so important.
It's the most important part.
It is, and I tend to agree with you there. And it's been just wonderful talking to you both. You make a fantastic team. Now, also, before I finish, we've actually did a mask on, a new mask, an anti-aging mask on Barbara this morning.
And I thought there was some difference.
And so you can actually apply this after a thread procedure. So, Barbara, just tell us how you felt about...
It's a very lovely, relaxing treatment. You can actually feel the mask tightening the skin. It's very cool and refreshing. And afterwards, the skin feels very soft. And I noticed that a lot of the little fine lines around my eyes and my mouth had actually disappeared. So I think it just as a treatment on its own, as a standalone treatment, it'll be a wonderful attribute to our clinic.
Yeah, and you can use it in combination with other treatments you might have. Well, it's just been absolutely delightful speaking to you both, and I urge any patients to come up to Coffs Harbour and have their consultation. And John and Barbara, you have a beautiful job making women look beautiful from the inside out.
Not just women, we do men too.
Well, there you go. And threads are for men as well as women, aren't they?
Exactly, yes.
So is there anything you want to add to a patient just to encourage them to come and have a consultation?
Come to COF, come see us, you go home looking beautiful.
Fantastic.
And COF is a great place to have a holiday.
It is. It's beautiful. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you both, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Margaret.
Lovely.